Stream.
And we're gonna figure out where we're streaming, make sure it's working.
Gotta always know where you're streaming, that's for sure.
You know, you can pee into the stream, and that's not important, friends.
X is live.
X is live.
I hope it caught.
Hope
it caught what Frank just said.
That was a Firesign Theater reference.
Oh. You can't have a show without one.
Back in the shadows again, out where an Indian's your friend, where the vegetables are green and you can pee into the stream, and that's important, friends. Back in the shadows again.
Yes, please stay in the shadows forever.
You know, that was funny about 40 years ago.
We are.
It was never funny. It was interesting.
You're live on LinkedIn, by the way.
I don't see you.
We're live on
LinkedIn.
Facebook. We're not on Facebook. That's it. Check it out. Let me see.
Yes, I got your Facebook.
Okay. All right. Looks like we're streaming on our platforms. Let's go to what do I say?
Mute is off.
Mute is off. There we go. How soon we forget. Mute is off, and we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, and
Hi, Steve Gillmor here. This is the Gillmor Gang. Joining us from the state of near confusion is it's okay.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen a show where he doesn't say that he hates it.
Okay.
I didn't say I liked it, but you know.
That's exactly correct. But it's just stuck, and that's just the way. I can't get it out of my head.
Isn't there some way to do it? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, with
why don't you say
mechanical
his
tools.
His name? How about his name?
Oh, and his name is Brent Leary. Welcome, Brent.
How about the magical, mystical Brent Leary?
Nah, I use that on a different show. I can't let that thing. I got to keep my shows. Got to keep my shows. Yeah, because there's somebody on a show I do who is from magical, mystical Medina in Ohio. So,
Who's that?
It wouldn't be mystical if I told you. So.
Well,
if I was on the show or watching the show, would it be a secret?
I give her a nickname. I'll tell you her nickname. Her nickname is Madam Mic Drop from Magical Mystical Medina.
Okay.
Is that long enough for the lower third?
It certainly is.
Good. All right, let's move on.
Okay, moving on the Brent Leary show is the Duchy of Palo Alto with its representative Keith here.
The Duchy of Palo Alto welcomes you to my office, and it's wonderful that we people of Palo Alto are joining you this great day.
Sir, you're right.
Do you go by Palo Altans or Duchies?
Duchies, definitely Duchies.
Okay.
Past the Duchy on the left-hand side is a commonly sung song here.
Where? In Palo Alto?
Yeah.
Palo Alto.
Okay.
From the remnants of the British Empire is Frank Radis.
Good evening. Here in London, where it's 7 o'clock and the bombs are not dropping.
Well, are those new headphones? Because your headphones and glasses, they like match. They look really good together.
Hey, thanks. No, it's the same old headphones. It's brand new glasses.
That's it. I knew there was something different.
They're bands, baby. They get dark when it gets sunny. They get clear when it gets night.
Nice.
So I read something, Frank, about the good old days that you refer to occasionally at what was the name of the studio that John King?
Chunking?
Chunking, yes. Something about one of the Beasties records was co-produced by the Dust Brothers. No
Yeah.
reference necessary. And that they consisted of two guys, one of which was John King. Is that the same John King?
That is the same John King. Yeah, they did when they were recording there. It was at the same time as Run DMC and LL Cool J were also
Yeah.
recording there.
The whole Def
And,
Jam crew.
oh, they were all there, and Leor Cohen, and he was in the control room every night, and it was a real scene. But I say night; those nights actually usually didn't start until about 3 or 4 in the morning. And they ended usually about midnight that next night, and then started up again at 3 or 4 in the morning. And I think I've told you this story a bunch of times. When I first heard these guys in the studio, and they were stealing, I tell you, little pieces of James Brown songs, and working on these Lynn drums.
That's called sampling, Frank. Sampling.
Well, it's called sampling.
You pay for it, yeah.
Anyway, and the Lynn drums, and I'm sitting in there, I'm looking in the studio, and there's amps and there's guitars and there's drums, everything's in there, and I'm going, and these guys are doing it in the control room. We would occasionally drop a guitar part in from the control room. The rest of it would have been in the other room, because the guitar you can isolate it pretty easily on a direct input, and I was like, this is never gonna work. What is this shit? Hip hop.
You're a little off there, Frank.
Oh man, I'm not usually that far off. But then many years later, well, not many, a few years later, when I was producing a show, it was called The Last Word with Phil Donahue and Greg Jackson. It came on after Nightline.
No Lawrence O'Donnell.
No, this was on NBC, the network, and
he sampled that title.
We decided one night, me and this really great journalist named Danny Schechter, who was a co-producer, the late great Danny Schechter, the news.
Is he related to Adam Schechter?
Nah, I don't know. Man, I don't think so. The news dissector. Anyway, so we decided, hey, why don't we do this show on breakdancing and rap music? We proceeded to, the guests, many of them proceeded to basically destroy the studio. They were just, food was everywhere, and they had brought their pets in, and it was a disaster, and it was live. And I remember the producer of the show, the guy who created 2020, a guy named Bob Weston, came up to me he was the executive producer, came out to me and he said, I don't ever want to see any of that crap dance music on my network ever again. As long as I live, your ass is going to be by Robert's ass. Anyway, we loved each other, me and Hoff. So that's it. I got nothing else. But yes, it was John King, whose name came up in a conversation just the other day, because his son is like 25 years old now.
Frank. His son has got to be at least 30 now. Yeah. Because my daughter and his son were very close in age. They were born, I think, only a few months apart. And she's 32.
Let's move on, guys.
Just to make you feel a little old, and me a little old.
So this old person to my right is producer-director Tina Chase Gillmor. Welcome.
I'll get him for that later. Anyway, hello. How are you? Glad to see you all here. And
clap.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Frank. And thank you for the silent clap. I love that.
The silent clap usually isn't something people.
No. We, after at the end of every song, we used to tell the audience, we'd say, thanks for the clap.
That's usually kind of confusing way to end the show.
Yeah, it wasn't very confusing. Wasn't good.
Hippie school, they used to go like this.
Yeah.
But in the auditorium, because they didn't want them to make noise. They used to do like this stuff.
The jazz clap. Brent, by the way, that was not unknown in DC in the 60s.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. And I remember that studio too.
So, Keith, uh, I requested that you, with your unlimited funds, due to your AI fascination, that you would find out how much it costs. And I'd like to find that answer to that question first for this new Grok bot. Can you tell us how much?
Currently, you
Tell us
have
what
to
the
be on.
Grokbot is first, and then tell us that.
So
No, I'd like to hear how much it costs.
I'll go with the editor, not the producer, for this particular question because he's more grumpy, and if I don't, I'll be in trouble.
I know. I'm always going to be nice. Thank you.
So, $200 a month. The way you do it is you have to have the premium plan on Grok, the underlying LLM that it sits on top of. Grokbot itself is free as long as you have that premium plan. So the answer is $200 a month. I'm pretty sure that will come down. They're probably just using it to throttle usage whilst they get it all fine-tuned or whatever. It is spectacularly good. And I say that having used OpenClaw and Hermes, which are the two competitors. It's an agent, so think of it as sitting on top of your LLM as your primary interface to all AI stuff. And it can spin up sub-agents for tasks, which come in a chat-like UI. So I've got about 5 of them running on it now. And it has access to virtual machines in the cloud for each agent. So it can actually spin up a machine, open a browser, have you go and log in with your credentials in this kind of enclosed environment. It can then do stuff for you in the browser once you're logged in. So it's a full service agent that it can also set things up, like set up websites. It can produce stuff for you, HTML or docs or spreadsheets. Or it's literally full service, and it creates a chief of staff, and the chief of staff agent manages all the other agents. Wow. So you just talk to it, and it gets everything else going. It's just really, really deep, very capable and good.
Can I just ask a question real quick? If you're starting from day one, you haven't bought any of this stuff. You talk about OpenClaw and Hermes, and now you have Grokbot and the latest Grok LLM. We most of us mere mortals have limited funds, so if you were to start from day one, if you were to say, all right, I'm starting right now, which one would you go forward with right now? Which combination?
It's such a fluid ecosystem, Brent, that I hesitate to give an answer because
is it very dependent on what you want to do?
No.
Which you would choose? No.
No. You can use OpenClaw and OpenAI, or OpenClaw and Claude, or actually OpenClaw and Grok.
Yeah.
And so you're choosing the user interface there. Everything's available to you. With Grokbot, you can only use Grok. But based on my early observations, it's fantastic. And then you've got Claude, which only uses Claude. So Claude has its own app, and it has agents, so it can roughly do all of the stuff, but everything's in Claude. And the same with ChatGPT, everything's in using the ChatGPT models. So I think if you forced me, I'd either say OpenClaw with fill-in-the-blank model, could be any of them. They're all good now. And that's a price issue. Like me and Steve have set up OpenClaw with OpenAI on a $20 a month plan, and it works.
Hmm.
Um, uh, I'm heavily leaning towards Grokbot based on early impressions, but that could change.
What this there was a bunch of ads in the last few days from OpenAI for enhancement in their image section. Was that that seems almost timely with the announce?
Images. To be honest, the best I've found is Higgs field. Higgs field is a portal that gives you access to all of the image models, and it uses a credit-based system. So you can buy $100 worth of credits, and it costs roughly $1 to make a 30-second video. You can do video or
Not
images.
bad.
And
That's
the
good.
best underlying model.
What's that? What's that called again?
Higgs field. HIGGS field. Higgs field, all one word. The best underlying model on Higgs field for video is called CDance, SEE dance, all one word, 2.5. I use it now for all my videos, and you can give it exact camera models and lenses. You can completely be very detailed, and then with
how long is there a length that
30-second max
30
per clip?
Wow, that's a good long clip.
Okay, I want to go back to what we were just talking about and ask you, Keith, the way you described it just now on the show, it sounded like there are no dependencies between Grokbot and any other.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that correct?
completely self-contained.
Okay, so that's
and the other good thing is you put it on your phone or your iPad or your laptop or your desktop. It's the same conversations no matter where you are, but it's running in the cloud.
Yep.
And has access to computers, but it also is running on whatever machine you initially put it on, and it has access to your file system.
Now I know you have OpenClaw running locally.
Yeah, OpenClaw is my main current day-to-day interface in Telegram.
And that works with basically all the models across the board.
Yeah, you got to be a bit geeky because you got to go in and manipulate the settings, and it goes wrong every now and then. Like me and Steve spent half an hour the other day. We got OpenAI to fix OpenClaw because it had some weird thing and it wasn't running on his laptop, but it was able to diagnose it and fix it.
So OpenClaw works with all the different models from across the model.
Or a lot of
makers.
models. Yeah, you got a whole set.
But Grokbot works just with the Grok stuff.
Grok 4.6.
And what about Claude? That just works with the
Claude only
models?
works with the Claude stuff.
So if you had a lot of money and you wanted to use models from everywhere, you could do OpenClaw and pull that stuff in. But if you are limited and you have to choose one, let's say,
Yeah.
right now and I'm just putting you on the spot for just
I'm leaning
literally right
towards
now.
Grokbot. I'm leaning towards Grokbot, but I haven't moved to it yet. I'm still on OpenClaw.
You're still, yeah, but it's
It
pretty
doesn't
new.
concern you that Musk might decide to spend 200 million on the government and then stop what he's doing for a while. In other words, is there a concern on your part for the impact of his political or
This company's public now. He can't just do stuff on a whim like he used to.
well, him and not he's not capable of doing something are two mutually exclusive points.
My general attitude to people's private lives is I don't give a shit. They can do whatever they want as long as.
I'm not asking about his private life. I'm talking about the ability for. Evidently, you feel comfortable with the idea that if you sign up for in a separate instance Grok at that third level or fourth level, whatever that is, that you're insulated from the vagaries of model changes or his commitment based on his other industries?
Well, I did hesitate and caveated when I said to Brent that it's such a fluid environment. That's part of the fluidity.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have the most trust right now and respect for OpenAI on a technical level and a stability level. I'm very impressed with Claude, capability wise. I don't like the politics of Anthropic at all, but I love the product. And a way to think about it is the permanent layer in AI actually is none of this. The permanent layer is skills and automations and schedules, access to your files, and those skills evolve and they're transferable. So there's a standard way a skill is expressed in AI. It's in a file called skill.md, and every skill has one. And it's an evolving document describing to the AI what the skill is and what is expected of it. So I'm building up skills, and right now, some of them are in Claude, some of them are in OpenAI. Grok has now, I've given Grok access to them, so it can see them, but it doesn't own them. So my permanent layer is skills. I have 160 different skills that speak to very different parts of my life.
So does Grok run on an equal basis all of those separate
Yes.
skills?
Yes.
And you've tested that?
Yeah. So I can go into any interface and say, run that was the week archiving skill. And it will read the skill and do exactly the skill, no matter which of the one I'm talking to.
Can the other harnesses or the other interfaces do that? Like, regardless of where the skill was created, can you run a Claude skill on the OpenAI stuff?
Yeah, yes, but the way I achieved it is I got OpenAI to take what were originally Claude skills and said to it, I want you to reorganize my file system on my Mac so that these skills could be accessed by any AI. And it slightly reorganized my file system, creating pointers to the skills folder.
Mm.
And from that point onwards, I told every AI where the skills were, and it's seamless after that. And I have a daily backup of the skills, like I said last week, that lets me upgrade my machine and then reinstall the skills.
So it's sort of like a pointer database. Is that locally on your?
It's locally and backed up, and it's all text files. A skill is a text file. There's no database. It's just a folder with text files. And each skill has its own folder.
Mm.
So that's the funny thing about AI. There's almost no code involved. It's all text. Coding is something it can do, and you can create code and GitHub repositories for your code and all that. But it's using a skill to create the code.
I have a question. Does this mean coding is dead?
Coding is more than alive. There's more code by a factor of 100 than ever before, but 90% of it's being written by AI agents.
So that should mean it's cleaner code, because we all know what it looked like back in the day.
Yeah.
Coding isn't dead, but coders, you mean human coders?
Coders are morphing into concierges of AI, AI concierge. With skill. I mean, you have to have skill.
Yeah, I'm curious, Keith, did you back a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, we were talking about Grok, and it wasn't an also ran, but it certainly didn't seem to be on this fast track to getting it to where you are using it now and what you're saying about it. Did you see that coming, or did you just assume because of Musk it was likely?
That $60 billion.
Well, I knew it was good because it's built into my Tesla. The Tesla now, you can just press the microphone button on the steering wheel or say, hey, Grok, and you're in a conversation with what appears to be another human being about anything you want to talk about. And it's good. And I had a Japanese friend in the car, and I asked it to answer in Japanese. It answered in perfect Japanese. He was blown away. So I knew it was good, but it wasn't. But it wasn't. The ecosystem around it didn't really speak to my use case precisely enough. With the launch of Grokbot, I can now access it on an equal basis to the others, so I can judge it equally in a way.
Yeah, but
When
it
I was
wasn't Grokbot being built by Cursor, so the acquisition of Cursor
The
really is what.
acquisition of Cursor is genius because
Yeah.
to be honest, Cursor was my first use going way back. And Cursor has access to all the different models in. It still does.
So this afternoon, I signed up to OpenAI, and it brought me into a place where I was actually having a conversation with somebody, and it was totally off the wall. I said, "Oh my God, what am I supposed to do now?" And this voice came back at me like it was, my long lost sister, and said, "Well, I mean, you really sound like you need some help." And it was like, "What?"
Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
Honestly,
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, but and weren't you pleasantly surprised and amazed? I mean, to be honest, the only limit to what you can do now is your imagination. If you can think of something that is achievable and doesn't require scientific breakthrough, you can do it. Because it's really just using the current state of intelligence to act on your behalf.
Because I need way more reason for me to be stuck to a screen.
Well, the nice thing is you don't have to be. You can walk around with your AirPods and your iPhone and be doing it anywhere.
I do that anyway.
Even if you had no screen at all, it would work.
So there you go, my Alexa.
The movie Her was quite perceptive.
Yeah, well, except for the murder part.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler alert.
Anyway, it's old.
But
it's old.
I mean, look, I get fun from work, and I mostly get fun when I achieve something from work.
I'm totally joking, though. I love it. I think it's fantastic, and it's a lot of fun to use, and it really creates more stuff that you can do because I look at it as a creative tool. That's all I do with it. I don't use it to organize files or any of that. I just do stuff with it.
Can I fit in a question to Steve Gillmor? Because a year of this time, if you just mentioned AI, he had physical fits and would contort and cut us all off.
Oh yeah.
And now, Steve, do you
waiting for that question?
Yeah. Did you ever foresee this where we have literally spent the first 44 minutes, well, we start a little late, 40 minutes talking nonstop AI without any politics at all?
Oh, well, that.
We could talk about the politics of AI.
Yeah.
Steve, did you see that?
Yes.
At that time. Oh, you did. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that was part of my.
You were quiet about it.
Part of my horror. No, that's not
part of us.
Yeah,
pretty quiet about it. Pretty.
The intersection of marketing and AI is terror-filled, in my opinion.
Exactly why? What's the main driver of that terror?
Well, because as most of you definitely, in my experiences working with Keith on the stuff that we've been working on, there's this sense of awe and amazement about AI, primarily from my perspective at the coding level, and just the what feels to be and effectively is a real conversation that's going on. Because maybe the AI thinks that it knows what it's doing, but I know I don't. So when I'm talking to the AI, I'm freestyling. I'm not scripted. So I value or disavow the responses that I get according to the context. And most of the context comes from seeing this thing develop quickly. And it's a very interactive, if you're in a coding session, it's, I mean, there are numerous examples of people that I know, including one of my brothers, and the stuff that Keith's been doing, and the stuff that by implication, I mean, when Frank, when you're doing that little Gillmor gang intro on the bus,
Yeah.
everything up to that point, I couldn't care less about, but it reaches a certain kind of con uh, confluence between the creative and the mysterious. And did we anticipate this? Yeah. I mean, we've talked about the Firesign Theater. They have 5 records that all delve into this, starting in 1968. So this is not a new thing. What is new is that it works. And it works in a context which is overturning the software industry right now.
We're in the CompuServe stage of AI.
I'm not sure what I know what you mean by
well, I mean, think about where the internet had a beginning with its sort of public touch point, and the public touch point in the beginning was one of them was CompuServe, and it was really important in that original text development, I think, of the internet, and I think that's kind of where we are right now. And that, I mean, look, the number of years from CompuServe to when the internet became a truly useful tool and visually stimulating and smart, that was not as long a period of time as the time between when the telephone was invented and the time when the first mobile phone came. I mean, these numbers for all of these sort of main touch points, electricity, for example, these things are starting to squeeze down in time, and I look at it as this is really the beginning of this. This isn't, we're not in the middle of it, I don't think. What do you
I understand what you're saying, but that's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is that there's a visceral thing that you can do where you become a human, and the machine, it's not a human. It's it's a machine, but
and
it's a
for that time,
machine.
that moment for
It's a
you was,
machine that can have a conversation with you.
yeah, and that
And
moment for
to the
you was when
extent
you,
that I've seen it happen
yeah.
numerous times on a daily basis for a long time. And when, Keith says this is, amazing, he's thrilled by it. I agree. I'm thrilled by it, but I'm also uh, the output that comes from this ubiquitous, um, what is characterized as slop is not something that I'm looking forward to. And in the same way, what concerns me more than anything is the notion of uh, the things that are leveled at AI, which may seem to be uh, sort of a gut reaction. It's not really that. It's more that uh, the perfect example that I can give for this is I do not believe an AI when they're talking to me if they start being pleasant. To me, it sets off alarms. It's somebody's or a number of people's aggregation of talking in a certain way that's designed for an outcome, which in the case of most of this, we end up talking about how much does this cost? Because it's not just AI, it's subscriptions to uh, TV, it's music, it's what's happened to Apple Music and Spotify, etc. These entities have replaced our interaction with things that were very important, at least to me, 30 years ago.
Steve, you're so prescient. I mean, that's an amazing, fantastic way to think
that's
about
what
it. I'm kissing your ass, by the way.
Yeah,
You did a good job there, Keith. That was really good.
Yeah,
that was good.
We all,
yeah.
When we get the anthropic, sniffer that is automatic and we can't turn it off because that would be illegal, then we'll know where we've been headed.
So I think it sounds like you're saying, Steve, that when you find a thing that you can do with it that is actually worth doing and worth looking at the results of, that puts it into perspective.
No, that's not, because the attacks on AI.
Keep trying, Frank.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm done.
All right. Well, then don't ask.
Okay.
Next.
Yeah, no problem. I was thinking about today when I was doing some stuff with video, how I wouldn't make a movie with it, but I would make it into a video shot board. That I think would be useful in the process of making a bigger, longer piece, because there's that whole process of having somebody actually do artwork, or whether it's real artwork or whether it's manipulated artwork in a computer, or it's AI and it generates a video of your thought process and your shot and your angle and the lens that you're going to use, and so on and so on. That this Grok thing sounds perfect for that.
I would. I think the right way to frame this is, if you think of those of us here who are either using or dabbling with AI, we're all creative, and we all have specific tasks that we're creative on every week. And I think the word slop is a word for a poor human use of AI. I don't think the AI does slop. I think the people who have a very low bar on what is an acceptable level of quality produce slop. I doubt any of us would produce slop, because we'd see it, we'd change it, and we wouldn't release things until we're happy with them.
Yeah.
So I don't worry that AI and slop really go together. I think slop and humans go together, and that's the whole history of spam, search engine optimization. There's internet slop going way back to 1994, and there's AI
a lot of
slop
email slop
and email slop.
Yeah,
but it's human slop. It's not the AI. It's the people.
Right. It's
Well,
always been.
I don't agree with that. I just don't agree with the idea that the issue that is bothering certain people, I'm one of them, is about the nature of the creative process interacting with machines. I think machines and people are I mean, we were listening to, I don't even know where it was in the last couple of hours. We were listening to, we talked about, hip hop. The TR-808 drum machine was a crappy little piece of shit that spawned an entire industry because artists liked it.
Or at least they found that they could use it to get closer to what they wanted.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been in a lot of sessions in my life with people who I consider to be absolute geniuses. I was lucky to be in the room. And they're sitting there. I can't figure out how to clean it up, but there's a producer. I don't even know if he's still alive. What?
Can we see your eyes a little better?
Yeah, sorry. Stevie Wonder's engineer / producer. There were two of them. Bob.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. I'm losing it because of my age. Well, yeah, I mean, he's the producer of all of the he was more the engineer.
Not the like 72 to 79 Stevie, because that was like a run of brilliance and excellence.
Yeah, exactly.
Hardly
That
ever
guy.
been met.
Yeah, there were two guys. One of them was Malcolm Cecil. The other was Bob, and I can't remember his last name right now.
Oh.
But I spent a lot of time working with him and David Sanborn on in the studio. And I'm trying to clean up this thing, but there was this one point where he got
Robert
this
Margaluf.
Margolef, Robert Margolef, yes. Uh, there was this one point where he got this bass sound. It was a combination of a mini moog and a Prophet, which was not really a good idea. But
They,
Like the Prophet.
Steve,
I had a Prophet.
they did Tonto's expanding
yes,
headband
that
together,
was
and I had them at the Penthouse in Scarborough, and I was a DJ.
Ah,
well, there you go.
There's always a
So,
connection here. It's nice.
but I won't even try to clean it
No,
up.
no, don't clean it
There's the
up.
point where he got a bass sound, and he turned around and looked at me and said, "This is, when it makes me want to shit." Now,
that's the level.
that's me.
That's the level that he wanted to get to.
It's a visceral.
Yeah.
You do not pull that apart
Could have been the big
from
boys.
whether this is a creative thing. Of course, it's creative. Everything about this stuff is creative if it's used in that way. A telephone. Look at what we're doing with telephones.
Hey, Frank mentioned the Lindrum. The guy who made the Lindrum was like, I meant it. I made it for this purpose. Then I saw what Prince did with it, and I was like amazed that, that it could do the things it did. But it was in the hands of somebody who was curious enough to see what it could do and what it couldn't do, and then find a way to use it to get to the output or the outcome that he wanted for his music. It's all about what the human does with the technology. It could be used for great things, it could be used for ridiculously stupid or tragic things. It's
Or
the
slop.
same. Yeah, or slop. It's all about the intent and the
The reason
ability
that
to get to the outcome.
that's correct. The reason that I am concerned about slop is I'm not really worried about slop. I'm worried about trusting the AI because the AI is becoming indistinguishable from the people that use it. So you have to, I mean, when I read people, I'm reading who they are and what their context is, given everything else I've read that they've written in the past, who they've worked with, who they've had accidental run-ins with. The nature of credibility comes down to whether you understand the soul of the person. Now, is there a possibility that we're going to get to a point with AGI or whatever it's called, where we're going to trust, you know, the aggregate of a lot of people's souls? That's how I look at it right now. I think probably we are. I
But I
think
think you're saying trust. But was there a president? I don't know which one. It's not more. It's not trust all its own. It's trust but verify. Isn't that kind of how we're supposed to be looking at this stuff?
I agree. So,
That's how I
so
look at it. So
So, but the question is, if that's how we're going to look at it, that we have to verify, we have to figure out what the context is that says to us, okay, this is okay. This doesn't bother me on the level of, you know, I've signed on to this for whatever reasons I've signed on to it. Now, somebody's coming up to me and saying, "Hey, what's your real opinion about this? If I do this, do you think that it's going to be okay, or is there a problem doing something with this?" And my answer would be, right now, uh, go slow. There's, as Keith has said, there's so much happening so quickly that you know, if you don't have respect for being brown-nosed by these entities, you're not taking into account who's trying to sell you what.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Steve.
but I do
You
think,
agree with me
Steve,
or not?
I do think you bend the stick way too far in that direction. It's not wrong what you're saying, but it's probably a 5% concern, not not even a 20% concern.
I'll tell you what is a big concern when it comes to all this stuff. And it's why I really do give Keith a lot of credit in this area. And Keith is like one of my go-to people. It's because there's a million and one, well, actually, it's probably understated. There's a million, multi-million people out there claiming they know this or that, or illustrating this or that when it comes to AI, making videos every damn day, sending out newsletters, whatever. But you know what their main intent is? It's to get you to sign up for shit. I ask Keith stuff partly because I know he knows what he's talking about, but it's also because he's never come across as trying to get me to sign up for anything or sell me anything. He's little very passionate about this stuff and loves to, it seemingly to me, loves to share what he's found out. And I really respect and appreciate that. Whereas there's a lot of folks out here that I know for a fact they did not know how to spell AI 4 years ago. And now they're the king and queen of AI. You ought to come to my thing. You need to sign up for my class.
It's funny you say that. I saw this exact same thing sort of play out when AR, when augmented reality was happening and was a thing, and there were so many people who jumped on that bandwagon, who didn't know anything about it and ended up becoming sort of regulars on the speakers tour to talk about that. It's another bubble. I don't think this is a bubble, but I think AR certainly was a bubble.
I just think there's a lot of people jumping on the
What is
bandwagon
AR?
and trying to make money.
What is AR?
Augmented reality.
Yeah.
Remember back when it was mixed reality, augmented reality, and virtual reality?
Yeah, no, I just didn't understand what you were saying.
What was that guy's name that was big in that was worked for Microsoft? Wasn't he on your show? He was a big time mixed reality guy. He went by his last name because his last name was kind of unique. Oh man, I can't.
Whose show? My show? His Steve's show?
No, he used to be on the Gillmor gang, like in the early days.
The
Scobalizer guy. That guy.
Scobalizer.
He was
Yeah.
Mr. Mixed Reality. Remember that?
Yeah, he was. He and I had it out one day on the air.
Oh, okay.
It was
anyway,
fun.
I don't know what brought that up. I just remember.
It just
pushing stuff.
Yes,
and a lot of people push this because they want to look like they're the ones you sign up and take their class.
Yeah,
and
I agree with you.
I really do appreciate Keith's approach to this, and I you got it now. It's on record, so
yeah. And I
really
think that
he's
show
the kind
is
of guy you should follow on this.
This show is a good example of what you're talking about. I think we've all become richer with the information that we got today from Keith. I think.
Now let's get into politics. Oh, wait a minute.
No, I was sucking up there, by the way. I thought I did a good job. Come on, damn it.
AI learns all its best tricks from humans.
Yes, exactly.
Well, nice of you to say that, guys. But I mean, I am just an enthusiast, to be honest. But I would use it even if I didn't have a day job that could benefit from it, just for the fun of it.
And I actually, I could see that. I believe that absolutely. So yeah. Steve is looking around. What's going on here?
No, Tina is murmuring in the background. Do you have a problem?
Yeah. What's up, Tina?
Do you use it, Tina, at all?
You see me? I don't see me. I don't understand.
I see you.
Oh, yeah, I see you.
Yeah, we see you.
See you, see me?
My screen. It's a little odd. Okay.
Well, that was a great app. See you, see me.
Gallery.
Oh yeah. See You See Me, 1994, August.
Wow.
I opened the world's first internet cafe in London, Siberia. We got donated computers around the outside looking out of the windows, and See You See Me was on them from Berkeley, California University, who bid it. And it was black and white, low frame video with text overlays. You couldn't do audio properly in those days. It was all out of sync.
Showdown.
I'm
But it
sorry.
was good. It was cool. I mean, look, so I thought the introduction of the video spigot was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you think
Tina, we
about
can all see you. Is it you can't switch to yourself?
I can't. Not only can I not switch for myself, I can't see myself in the gallery shot.
That's really
you
weird.
you moved to a different position in the gallery just now.
Yeah, you did. But you know, if I double click on you, I get you full screen.
Wow.
So, well, there you go. Don't do any of that.
All right. Well, let's try and keep to some content, and then we'll wrap.
I
the
was
show
going to
up.
ask Tina.
She's director, and she doesn't
Well,
have
look,
tools.
they can see me, and
Yeah.
I still have a voice, so you can do it.
Okay.
Something how
I'd like to switch to any other subject, but the AI right now.
Ah,
It seems like a lot of these streamers are having some really great luck with third and fourth seasons that, that don't seem to have lost any of their clout. I think Ted Lasso is it.
Ted
Oh
Lasso.
my, absolutely fantastic.
It's better than the last season.
I'm blown away by that. And Reacher, by the way, oh man, I'm all over that. Like, I'm not going to go with what I was going to explain it as, but I'm all over Reacher. I can't wait for another season of the Larry David's show. The ending, if you haven't seen it with Obama, was just spot on. It was so good. And then there's this is really bizarre. Little House on the Prairie is really good.
wow.
It is real. It is absolutely not Little House on the Prairie that if you saw it back in whatever the 1800s. But when we were watching TV with those cranks, but this one's really good, and it's and the new Star Trek into the fourth season, outstanding. So there you go.
Damn, that's a lot of TV there.
Alley Cats, check it out. Check out. It's Ricky Gervais's new show where he plays. It's an animated thing, and he's like the leader of the gang of cats. It is real. It is an adult cartoon, and it's very funny and poignant, and you'll like it, Tina. I guarantee you.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. I'm done.
If you watch anything animated, that'll be.
It will not happen.
Really? I'm telling you, but Ricky, it's funny. It is funny. Keith, watch it and tell them what you think. You'll say the same.
I will. I haven't seen Reacher actually.
Oh, it's so good. It is. If you read the books or you listen to the books, it's just spot on. Again, there's so much good stuff out there right now. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Did you all read about this Cambridge lecturer who just committed suicide? The guy who he was hired through DEI. It turned out his entire story was false. The university, in defense of their DEI strategy, backed him. It became a huge debate over the last week, and he killed himself 2 days ago.
It was what a crazy story. You actually added a dimension that I wasn't aware that that they had proven that all of it was phony. I had not heard that.
He was just a fantasticist. He claimed to have run 500 miles in a period of time where it would be impossible to have done that. He'd have to have run 50 kilometers a day every day, which seems impossible. And anyway, in the end, he admitted that some of it was made up. It was trivial things. Yeah, it was trivial things. A lot was made up. He was just one of those people. You've met people like that who just can't help themselves. They make things up, and they believe them in their own head, I think. And
God, isn't there a guy named Donald Trump that's kind of like that?
But it's tragic that this guy was totally. The university almost set him up and then dumped him. They didn't take any responsibility themselves. So it
was so fast.
He resigned. Apparently, they didn't give him any counseling, and he killed himself.
Well, he was not only the youngest, but he was the youngest black man to have held that position at the university, and there was an awful lot of eyeballs on him when he got the job. And then when this story broke, it just went so fast. It was like a wildfire. It started, and then
they didn't give two hoots about him. He was a symbol for their DEI strategy. They hadn't done their due diligence. They set him up to succeed and dumped him when the lack of due diligence came back on him.
Yeah. It's a sad story. No matter what, it's a sad story.
It's a little bit like what happens here in the Valley with Theranos, where not enough due diligence done on the drug stuff. And
that wasn't a very that was not
she's in jail. She's in jail. She's obviously a bit of a fantasist.
Yeah.
And that could have all been avoided with just better due diligence.
She by the way, I wouldn't put the word sad story to her.
It is sad. It is sad. When you get
who's her?
The Theranos woman.
Elizabeth.
Yeah. Holmes.
Yeah.
Holmes.
What are you trying to say, Frank?
That I think the story of this professor, young guy who killed himself, that to me was a sad story. The story of Elizabeth Holmes to me isn't a sad story. She went out. She thought that she could create something that was sort of uncreatable, which was one blood test that would cover everything, and it could be immediate. And it was like, oh, this sounds too good to be true. Guess what? It was too good to be true. And billions of dollars and lots of people were taken to the cleaners, and she went to jail. I didn't see that as sad.
No, but I think you have to, this is probably a bit extreme, and maybe I'll agree with you in the end, but I think you've got to try to empathize with the person. She clearly, I don't think she thought she was committing fraud. I think she thought she was building a product that was not yet complete and was selling it. And in doing that, she crossed all kinds of moral lines, and she deserves to have ended up in prison. But I guarantee if the early investors had done even a bit of due diligence, medical due diligence, she wouldn't have got the funding and she wouldn't have been in jail.
Here's my answer.
You're a harsh human being.
Sometimes.
Frank Radish.
Sometimes. I've never been called that before. Yes, I have, but not often.
So what was the tangent that we got off on this particular story from?
No, there wasn't one. It just came into my head as something that hit me in the last week.
I'm not suggesting that it's a bad thing to talk about. I'm just wondering.
We were talking about TV shows.
It was things that have happened in the last week that you haven't talked about. I just remembered it's actually quite a big deal, this thing.
That was a good documentary. That was a docudrama that was done on her and in that whole story. I thought it was compelling and pretty good TV, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know what there is to say about it, but I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was funny. Funny to a certain extent, but also I think some real ramifications about Trump getting hustled onto another plane secretly from Turkey, and then off on what looked to be the plane that he took. I mean, it was I think pretty well done. But I mean, some issues about the people who like that.
Oh God, not some issues. That was the issue. They became the targets, and the White House Correspondents Association has already sort of addressed the issue with the White House, and that was the thing. The fact that he was seconded onto these planes and secreted in and out and all of that's actually been done before. It was Clinton did it.
Yeah,
and
you want that to happen, sure,
but he didn't leave all of the White House press corps on the plane that was going to be targeted. If I had been on that, but I would have. I would have gotten off that plane once I heard about it. I would have screamed bloody murder. I would have gone right to Sam Donaldson and said, "How could you let this happen?"
Yeah, what I wonder about is why are they getting on a plane with him at all anymore?
Well, that's what they do. I mean, they get
You
transported,
know,
right?
you asked that question, Stephen. I think the answer to that, because I ask that question all the time too, and the answer is because you have to.
Yeah.
You just have to. And um, uh, now the amount of airtime that is given, that's controllable. But the fact is, you have to be there. If you're not there, then did it happen? I don't
I mean,
know. Tree falls in the
what's the
woods.
nature of the pool? The pool, the
Well,
editorial pool.
there
What is
there's
the
a
nature
there's
of
a
that?
there's a TV pool. There's a
Yeah.
radio pool,
Huh?
it won't be
Okay.
radio. It's probably
So doesn't that
online.
so doesn't that cover most of this
Yeah,
from
but
a
when you're a
practical
journalist and
perspective?
you get, yes, but when you're a journalist and you're invited to fly on Air Force One, do you say no? No, you don't.
Oh, that says something, complicated, but something
Yeah.
about the nature of what journalists think is their remit.
Well,
I mean,
if you're the White House,
do
if you're the
people?
White House people, your remit is the White House, which means the president of the United States. You've just got to cling on or Klingon. Uh, just struck me as funny. I mean, you have to be there. You have to, and that's the nature of covering the White House.
Well, I'm not sure that the nature of covering the White House includes ascribing certain uh, rights to yourself and protections to yourself that actually don't exist.
I think that's fair enough that you asked that question, but it's also inherent in the job that you are being protected when you're with the president, or when you're those people didn't know the president wasn't on that plane. They thought he was there because when it landed, he came off the same plane that they were on, but he had, without knowing that he had been brought over there in a catering bin. So you
So
as
I
a
agree with you what you just said, and I asked the question as a follow-up, what is the logic of getting on what appears to be an authorized flight when in fact it's not?
well, how would you know that it wasn't?
They didn't know. They
Exactly.
didn't know.
Yeah.
You would have some determination, you would have
Yeah.
some diligence that was being done by
Yeah.
somebody or some buddies in that press environment as well.
I think the issue.
Yeah, I imagine that's what the White House Press Correspondents Association has asked for. I mean, I think that what they thought was always available to them now needs to be spelled out as to what is available to them. And that, I think, it seems to me to be, and I also think, however, that that's a sort of an unnecessary, stupid thing that only happened because of Donald Trump.
It seems to be that I mean, with what you're bringing up, Steve, is that there's you to travel in this way, to do that job, part of what you're doing is trusting your government to transport you, right? You're taking it.
Thank you.
And can you trust the government to transport you safely? That's the question. Because they basically blindsided those people. They didn't tell them the truth, and they didn't give them an option. And let me tell you, if I knew that the plane that I was getting on was a potential target for what was it?
Shoulder fired missile.
Shoulder fired missile. I think I would have said, check, please.
Yeah.
And I would
So,
have
but you know what? But it is inherent in your taking that job to know that those kinds of things can always happen, always, and you know that. However, because the Air Force One that he didn't fly in actually has surface to air or air to surface missiles. It has the ability to throw out flak, so that missiles can't target the plane. There's all sorts of defensive mechanisms on the plane specifically to protect from that.
But not on that plane.
No, not on the Qatari plane. Which, by the way,
I don't understand this either. Why wasn't this plane actually ready for a president?
Because it couldn't be. There was not enough time to retrofit the plane the way it needed to be retrofitted.
In the past, there were
excuse me. Why? Okay, there wasn't the time to retrofit it. So why make the decision to use it?
Ask your president that question.
Well, what my point would be is that this really seems to me to be about the fact that the president and his team do not trust the journalists to keep information that they consider to be their purview from the quote public. And I wouldn't say that that's the that's
fair.
That's kind of fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, look what's happening with Trump offering people to buy his private truth socials ahead of the time that they go out publicly for a small amount of money, like $1 million. Think about that.
I'm actually okay with it. I don't really care. No, because I think
but you're not on that flight either.
Well,
and you might if you were on that flight.
No, I would. I mean, sorry, I was just relating to the selling the truth socials thing. I do care about the airplane. I mean, the airplane, the bigger picture there is that Iran is clearly probably more of a threat now than it was before the war started. And the level of incompetence in choosing to do it and then not being able to conclude it in any good way has made permanent something that was unstable, but not about to blow up. Now, I don't know. I think the young Ayatollah, the son,
if he's alive,
he's got 4 decades ahead of him as long as he's healthy. Yeah. The net historical look back on that war is going to be, it's almost like worse than Vietnam. It's like the end of American dominance on the world stage and the need to renegotiate America's place, which I think the whole NATO thing is about. And I actually think Vance isn't wrong how he assesses all of that. I don't think the Democrats have really started to think about foreign policy in that way yet, like the America in the world and the consequences. I think there's a big discussion there that should be had that isn't being had, and Trump's made it worse for sure.
I think the duty of the press is to make sure that becomes a message of paramount importance, and I think that's starting to happen. I'm hearing it more and more about how America has put itself in great jeopardy on the world stage, and how the position that America has, in fact, that the dollar not being looked at as the currency that should be the global currency in consumer in the consumer world and in the business world. I think that a lot of people are starting to hear about it, and that's a job the press is doing good on.
Yeah. Yeah, but the currency thing is going to be slow. It takes decades for a currency to a currency can out-survive the strength of the economy that underpins it if other countries agree to use the currency.
Yeah.
And currently the other countries are agreeing to use the dollar. So even though logically the dollar is on a path to a bad place, it's not going to go that fast.
Yeah. Hopefully we in 2 years, given what will probably happen in November and then afterwards in 28, things will, you know, I don't even want to say it. Never mind. Forget it. I'm done. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even be thinking about it. I live in England.
For a reason.
You indeed.
Yeah. We have our own problems. Thank you very much.
Well, no one will care, so I'm not going to ask the question, but I'm personally quite curious about whether Starmer is as ordinary as his predecessor. He's being depicted as extraordinary and better, but I don't know. I know him vaguely. I've spent.
Oh, you don't mean Starmer. You mean the new guy.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean
yeah.
Starmer. I mean whether the new guy is
Yeah.
more substantial than Starmer. What's his name? Andy Burnham.
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 You know, I can't tell. I was like, oh God, who was this guy in the beginning? And now I'm starting to see that he's out there doing stuff that looks pretty good. But I can't read it. I thought Starmer was pretty smart, and I think Burnham's starting to grow on me. I don't know. I need a little more time. Ask me that question in about 3 months. See what they do with wasn't there a Firesign Theater thing with Diego Garcia?
If it was after the 6th album, I don't know.
I don't know. Diego Garcia was it? I don't know. God bless Vespucci land.
Did I tell you guys I went to see David Byrne at Stanford?
You told me.
That is David Byrne. His new act is fantastic.
Really? Does he move a lot on stage?
He's still got it. No, he's still got it. And he has about, I don't know, 12 colleagues who he's made mobile. Even the drums are mobile. So they're dancing using wireless to communicate to the PA system. Guitars, drums, wind instruments, string, but all in movement, like Burning Down the House, done this style, fantastic. It was, and the sound quality good. His voice is completely still there, and he's still, he's a total weirdo. He's maybe unfair, but I think he's probably on the spectrum. And the precision of the movements on the stage, you just know he's sat down and he's charted every step.
I'd like to see that show.
Yeah.
The Eagles added extra dates on the Sphere in Las Vegas. I'm hoping maybe I can get a ticket to one of those.
The Eagles?
Stop it. I love the Eagles.
I just asked the question.
Yes, the Eagles.
Who is in the Eagles these days?
Let's see. Joe Walsh is still in the Eagles, and Vince Gill is in the Eagles, and Jeremy, what is his name? Smith, the bass player, who's been in the Eagles since the beginning, and of course, the guy who sings lead and plays drums.
Joe Walsh played the Penthouse as well.
Joe Walsh is so good.
Yeah.
He used to, in my show when I did Showbiz Today, Joe Walsh used to come and do each week we would have someone that was a musician come in and read the Billboard countdown live on the show. And every time Joe Walsh came, it was a party. That's all I'm saying.
There's something, what's that album? The Smoker and the something.
Something.
I can't remember the name of the album. I've actually got it here in my CD collection, but it'll take me forever to find it.
And Glenn Fry's son is in the band, Deacon Fry, and he's really good. And the lead guitar player, it's funny, the last lead guitar player, actually, other than Joe Walsh, came from the DC area. He was pretty well known as a musician back in the 70s when I was playing in DC, and he ended up being the lead guitar player and had to recently resign from the band because of Parkinson's.
As a Brit listening to them originally, I reckon there's about an album's worth of their songs that I love, and the same's true of Steely Dan. they're in the same part of my brain. I love Steely Dan as well. That
Well, there's
sound,
something about that. You know, they were two of the things that made both of those bands so good was that they were so precise in their music. And if you hear the Eagles live, you might not go, "Ooh, this is great," because it's exactly perfect. You'll hear the song played the same way every single time. And it'll sound like the record. And you know, there's a lot of people who will say that if it doesn't sound like the record, it's not being played well.
yeah.
I don't agree with that, but
So go and ask Gemini about the Penthouse in Scarborough in the 70s, and you'll be amazed. It was like this. It was probably like the New York clubs that you guys are familiar with, because it's small, 200 or 300 people, small stage, but with world-class acts every Friday.
Wow.
In this small town that had 60,000 people living in it.
How did that come about? That doesn't sound
There was
like
there was a weirdo called Paul Adams that owned it. He later was known as an Indian religious guy, what they were called, not shaman.
Shaman? No.
The same thing that George Harrison went to visit. Anyway, he became this guru.
He became a guru, yeah.
They were totally weirdos, and this guy Cedric was his manager, who was more linear and managed the place. It was those two, and they were both weirdos, and it was just their project.
Did you know?
But
do you know the name of
that kind of talent is not easy in a small situation in a small town, or not small town.
In Richmond, do you know the name of the bar in Richmond where the Beatles and the Rolling Stones played? It was right across from the train station, and they used to have a sign on the door, and it said, "This is where the Beatles met the Rolling Stones," and while Jimi Hendrix watched.
I don't know Richmond very well, because I was older by the time I got to London. I was in my mid-20s. The Penthouse was 16 through 19 years old,
and you'd go there at 16.
I wasn't the official DJ. This guy who lived on my street was the DJ. But I was DJing, and he let me take over for an hour when he went on his break. So I was DJing slots for him, and he let me do it more and more. And I was very flamboyant. I had long hair and wore all this glam rock stuff. I would often put a song on, and I'd go on the dance floor, and I'd be the only person dancing. And there was like a gallery behind fences, and everybody would be watching me as I was dancing to the music I'd put on myself.
Are there any pictures of that?
No pictures. Those were not days of
but there
cameras.
is a nice picture of Keith around that time in some purple attire, I think.
But I remember the Roxy Music did their first tour there, and my day job was a bingo caller. I might have told you this before because it's such a strong memory for me. And 8 o'clock the next morning, I'm opening up the bingo, and 9 a.m. Brian Ferry and Eno walk past and go in and play a game of bingo.
Wow. Bingo.
That's a good story.
Yeah, that was my summer job. I was in high school. And in England, you start going to nightclubs at 16. You're only allowed to go at 18, but you can get in at 16.
You know what to do. All right. Well.
But I wasn't as ingrained as Steve was. I mean, Steve actually worked with these people. They just passed through my.
No, I mostly hung out with those people.
Yeah,
I didn't work with a lot.
Some.
Yeah. Well, isn't it about
Yeah.
I know what that means.
We are wrapping up.
I think that was coming from Princeville, Georgia. That is a rap. He's saying it is the Brent Leary show this week, Steve. He's calling you a rap.
Well, no, you guys did give me plenty of time to check out the Rams highlights of the rookie quarterback. So,
what's the verdict?
Oh, yeah, he looked really good. He looked really good. Second team. Anyway,
I just met somebody the other day whose son is working for the Rams front office, and I was like, oh my goodness, my friend Brent's Ram crazy, and she was
A rookie is just a future star, right? Or not?
If you're lucky enough.
Ugh. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily guaranteed.
They're gonna have a
And
good
don't
year,
get
right,
and
Brent?
don't get hurt.
Yeah, don't get hurt.
My brother was a college star at a couple of universities and was drafted by the Redskins and then hurt his knee, never played, and professionally, and then did what all the football players that weren't playing in the 60s did. He opened a bar.
Wow.
Anyway, Steve, whenever the spirit moves you.
Well, you can wrap it up.
Just string it longer and longer and longer.
I'm not going to do anything that you think I'm going to do.
All right.
I'd just like to say thanks for those who came, and especially thanks to those who didn't. See you next time.
Kind of good.
Works for me.
Bye.
Yeah. Ciao, man.
Bye.